9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hi guys, by now you'd have seen our merch store and you're familiar with it, but hold on, what's that, Christmas stuff? Oh, hold on a sec. Merry Clopmas, mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, for men, women and children. Oh, that's nice, I like that. Look at the detail on that. But wait, hold on, there's more. Jingle. No, not Jingle Bells. It's Jurgen Bells. Look at the Christmas tree with the trophies underneath it. Snapbacks. You know how it is. You've seen the Snapback before. Oh, it's a red one. It's a red one as well. Guys, you know what to do. Click the link in the description. Head over to our merch store and get your stuff now. Let's go.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Thursday's Prem Panel Show. As always, as you saw in the ad, people, you know, we got that Christmas stuff out right now. If you want to make sure you get it before Christmas, get into the store now and hurry up, and you will definitely receive that before Christmas. Before we get into things, let me introduce the panel. Unfortunately, Cal will be away today, and Aaron and Lewis are both unable to make it. But we've got the wonderful George and kagey in the building. What's going on, boys?
The best too. Woo! All good.
The shade has been thrown
Already. 30 seconds in.
But these man should be happy though, because their teams have been doing all right recently. They've been doing all right, so you know.
Yeah, man. And Matt, what's going on, bro?
I'm blessed, man. And obviously glad these guys can make it, because it's going to be an interesting show tonight, because I think what both of their teams have been doing, you know what I mean? They might have turned the corner, so to speak. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
We will indeed. All right. So first topic of the day, guys. And if you haven't watched the preview we did for the Aston Villa game with Liverpool, make sure you check that out, guys. We did that earlier on today. That's up on the channel now. So we're going to start there, not to actually talk about the game, but just to get everybody's kind of feelings on two things. So I'll start with you, kagey, bro. I just want to know if you feel it was a little premature that Villa pulled the plug on Dean Smith. You know, how you feel like he did before, and you know, was it a little bit unjust, so to speak, that he was let go? And then how impressed have you been with Villa under Gerrard in the last couple of games?
No, it wasn't premature. I think Dean Smith had more than enough time, and he had all the resources for him and to him, and he didn't utilize them to the best of their ability. And I think you could see he was getting desperate towards the end when he started to drop his own captain, Tyrone Mings, and that's when you kind of know that the manager's going out the door. So they needed to make the move, and Steven Gerrard is a very good appointment for what he's about. And I think it suits Aston Villa. They now go out of that bracket of where we are, and I don't think they're going to get dragged back into it under Steven Gerrard now.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. George, same questions, bro.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the same thing, really. I think it's a for Gerrard himself as well. It's a good step up. We all know it's a good gateway into the Prem. Not too much pressure on the job. Can kind of find his feet a bit in a club that actually still has quite a bit of money behind them as well. So he should hopefully be able to get some players that he wants, if not in Jan, then definitely in the summer. So yeah, I think it's a good appointment. And yeah, I mean, Villa at the start, throughout the start of the season, just did not look anywhere near as good as they have done recently. And obviously the departure of Grealish does play a big part of that. But at the end of the day, I think the easiest thing to do is obviously get a new manager in. And yeah, I think it's probably the right one for them to do.
Fair enough. And Matt, just quickly same to you, bro. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think for me, it was an appointment that had to be made, because even I know they was always gonna find it hard to kind of, you know, do something about their talisman. Obviously, Jack Grealish, who left for obviously big money for Man City, they needed some fresh impetus. Like the team that they have, they should have been doing better. And what's so mad is Gerrard's come in now, played what I think it's like 4 or 5 games, I believe it is now. and you can see the difference. He's a winner, and even though he may not have the experience as my man before, you can see that winning mentality is kind of been taken on board with them, and they look a far better unit. You have to look at their last couple of performances to see how drastically they've improved, and they've had injuries as well. Like Danny Ings has been missing for them, and they're still winning games. Do you know what I mean? If that was under, Dean Smith, they might not have been able to have done that. And I think for them, it goes hand in hand. They're kind of like a mid to young team, and that fits the profile of what Gerrard does, isn't it? Like Gerrard is a young manager, so I think it's not something that's too big for him, and I think the fit is perfect in my opinion for the club and for him. So,
we're sticking with you then, Matt. What would you? Where do Villa have to finish at the end of this season for Gerrard to be taking that first step? Do you feel of being successful?
I think Villa, the squad that they have, they should be in the top 8. They should be in the top 8, in my opinion. It'll be good for them to break into that kind of top 6 because obviously you got like the usual suspects. But I think for them to kind of break into that category, I think that'll be a success for Gerrard. If they finish like 10th, 11th, it's just going to be like, okay, he took over, made them better, won a few games. But if they break into that top 8 and then next season, like break into that top 6, that's kind of what they want to do. They spent all this money, obviously the Jack Grealish money. They've reinvested very, very well. They got a very good squad, in my opinion. Villa should really be breaking into that top 8, top 6. So I think if they do that, then I think we can say it's been a success. If it's anything below that, you kind of go, could he have done a bit more considering the amount of money that they spent in the summer?
I kind of disagree, to be honest, a little bit, because the competition is so high at the moment. Like, if you actually narrow down what the top 6 or 8 would be, you've still got like us, Arsenal, Leicester, Everton, West Ham. All of those are still below Man City, Chelsea. You got Man U as well. Obviously, you guys. Like, there's a lot of competition there, and I don't quite think Villa are at that level yet. So I think for me, like a sort of 10th mid-table finish, considering how they started the season, is a good first season for Gerrard. Obviously, we can all say like cup runs and stuff like that, but obviously that's maybe a bit unrealistic for them. But I think for his first season, making sure that they're obviously still in the Prem, still competing, mid-table about 10th, I think will be a good start for them. And then obviously building from there, hopefully breaking in towards those European spots, I think would be sort of the right way, in my opinion.
No, fair dues, man. KG, how about you, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm with George. I think top 6 is way too soon, especially with some of the quality of the teams around them. That would require them jumping over quite a few really established teams that I think will get better throughout the season as well. So for me, yeah, 10th would be a good spot. I know they finished 11th. Was it 11th last season? 10th, 9th, good start, and then get his own troops in the summer and go from there, because he's still got a few players there that I don't think are Steven Gerrard players, in all honesty. So I think he'll look to get in his own boys in the summer.
Fair dues, man. Fair dues. Yeah, I like it, man. I mean, I'm not gonna. I kind of feel it was a little bit premature just based on the prior stuff that Dean Smith had done. Like, I know they were playing poorly at the moment, but I think he had done enough to maybe give him a little bit more time. But I guess they saw Gerrard, or they maybe spoke to him, and he, they knew they could get him, and I guess they thought, let's just do it while we can, kind of thing. So I kind of see it on both sides, really. All right, we'll leave the predictions for that one till the end. But obviously, guys, just keep in mind now what you think the Liverpool Villa game might be before we get to that stage. So, getting on to the next topic. This is going to be close to home for KG. Based on, say, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 results at the beginning of the season, I personally, and I think a lot of people share this, was a little bit worried about Leeds, if it could be that second season syndrome and what was going on. And I know you said a couple of times on your channel, KG, I'll let you guys know when to hit the panic button, so to speak. You know what I mean? And obviously, it isn't major turnaround, but to get a win and a draw in the last 2 games, considering some of the results before weren't the best of results, would you say Leeds have kind of turned a little bit of a corner? Like, how are you feeling now with regards to how Leeds' season is going and the injuries and just everything that's been happening so far?
No, I mean, we haven't turned a corner. I think it's I think if you're looking at it purely from a results base, then you would say yeah, but no, because if we had turned the corner, we would have beaten Brentford at home and not celebrated a 95th minute equaliser at home to Brentford, like we'd won a FA Cup. So that kind of gives you an indication of quite where our season is. Again, we've only won 3 games all season in the league. You can't overlook these kind of things. So whereas I still don't believe that we'll be one of the worst 3 teams come the end of the season, it's not going to be a fun season like it was last year. You know, when I'm setting up the laptop now to do the match reviews, man, it's like going in for an office job. You know what I mean? It's like,
It's gonna be a hard day, isn't it?
yeah, man, it's rough now. Whereas last year I was bouncing. Even when we lost like 3-0 to some team, it would be like I saw my team give it a go. I saw us doing all the right things. It's a lot different this year, and we're paying the price for it right now. And it's something that I said on here, I've said on my own channel, many other places. The recruitment just wasn't good enough, and we're definitely going to feel that coming up now. So I mean, it's just a snapshot of our season where we get our 2 players back and have a full strength team almost. You know, no Robin Koch, he's not there just yet. But then we lose 3 players in one game, all with hamstring injuries. And Patrick Bamford there, he comes back after 2.5 months, scores, gets injured celebrating. You know what I mean?
Mad. I can't even lie. That is
Yeah,
mad.
Yeah, I mean, it is mad. But you know what? It's not just about injuries, though. It's about the rest of the balance of the squad. And Bielsa today, I mean, he's come out again and said if they're not going to get anybody better in January, then they won't move for anyone. But for me now, it's about him not overvaluing some of the players that he's got attached to, and he has got attached to some of these players. You got to remember, Bielsa's never been anywhere this long in his career, and he always feels some sense of loyalty. And I think he's got a sense of loyalty to a few of these players that just don't deserve it and cut it in the Premier League. So, and anyone in the chat, I'm not talking about injuries. It's about squad depth, and we just don't have depth. It doesn't help, obviously, when Calvin Phillips and Calvin Phillips is going to be out possibly till February, which is a huge blow. Bamford out for now for probably a few more weeks. Cooper's out, but we've got Llorente, we've got Strauch in there, we've got Creswell, who are more than capable centre half. So I'm not worried about that. But it just stretches the rest of the squad, and it's just things. I mean, I'll just give people a snapshot. People don't want Bielsa out, but people want Bielsa to make a bit more sense because he's been doing very questionable substitutions. Just like when Cooper went off injured, it would have been easy to bring on Creswell as a ready-made centre back to come in. But instead, after a bit of deliberation, he brought on Jack Harrison, who's well out of form. I mean, he's so out of form, it's unbelievable. And he's one of those that I think the crowd's coming back has affected big time. Like, you don't like the crowds being there. Mateus Klick is a ghost. He should have been gone. But again, this is on recruitment and the management not buying into the 9th place finish last year and believing that this squad could come by their way through the league this year. So, and it's also told as well with our management, our director of football went mad at some fans the other day when
I saw that video.
Our CEO made some very questionable program notes the other week. So it kind of shows you that the pressure's being felt. And what it's going to come down to now is Bielsa and the board have to come together and say, listen, Marcelo, we need you to approve these players. And if Marcelo says, no, he's not better than Klick, then it's going to make the season just feel even longer.
I mean, you were saying about the favourites. We've kind of talked about that a lot with Klopp. And I kind of feel like all managers do have favourites, though. It's just a little bit annoying when maybe the favourite, you personally as a fan, think, I don't get why he's the favourite. Do you get what I mean? Like, I get it. So as well. Is that what it is more? You kind of get that they have favourites. You're just thinking, why is it him kind of thing?
Bro.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's just mentioned him, Tyler Roberts, and he got his first goal since Southampton last season, which is, I mean, many games ago. I had a title already for him, like, when he scored his next goal. I finally got to use it last week, the remontada of Tyler Roberts. But we need to know now. We need to know now if he's going to carry on, or is this going to be another one where he scored against Southampton, didn't score until that game before. And again, Tyler Roberts is one of those where you just think, how is this guy keep on getting game time? I mean, Joe Gerrard had a brilliant game against Wolves, and you would expect him to do something against Norwich, start or come off the bench. He didn't get no minutes. And these are other things that are just puzzling people. Just like, how are we not playing our young, exciting talents that need to be mixed in with some of these weary, experienced players? Because Dan James has come in and he looks the most energetic of the lot because he hasn't been doing this for 3-4 years.
Yeah, yeah. I remember we felt a little bit like maybe some of our players had burnt out under Klopp because we was playing an intense system, and last season almost felt like maybe it gave us a bit of a kind of season off the way it ended, and maybe they did get a bit of recuperation. So I kind of know what you mean on that one.
To be honest, that happened
Uh,
with us with Pochettino. Like we had the same squad for 6 years, 5.5 years, and it was
yeah,
just catastrophic by the end of it. Like all of our stats in terms of like showing our ability to run every match, it just kept on dropping and dropping and
Yeah.
dropping, like every
Mm.
single game.
Yeah,
So you're right. Like you do,
yeah.
you do need that constant refresh of players just to
And,
keep the
and
energy
that,
up if that's how you're going to play.
and that's the point, George, as well. And with all due respect, you guys have got more quality in terms of on the ball than we do. So you've always got an upper hand in that area. But that's what it is. You need to replace these players. And I really do believe that they relied on the team spirit just to keep us through, because a lot of them are friends. Sorry for me, sentiment goes out the window. You need to start selling some of these players, getting a little fee for them where you can before they become just worthless to you. And then they have to they have to go for pittance. So yeah, I mean, it's an issue, but that's what the upper management are paid for. And we'll see, the proof will be in the pudding in January, because we can't do nothing about it now. We go into a tough run of games against Chelsea, Man City away, Liverpool away, Arsenal at home, and Villa at home. So we've got a good run of games before January hits, but maybe this is the right time. Maybe this is the right time for it to happen, so that the board really do think that we need to do something in January. And like George says, well, our running stats are down as well. Something that we're known for. All the pressing stuff is down. We don't hunt impacts anymore. It's changed a bit. We're not so open now, but we're not hardly scoring any goals either. Our goal difference is something like -7, but it's not because we're bad defensively. It's just that we're not scoring no goals unless Rafinha's doing it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that is a hard run of games you got there, boy. Bloody hell.
It's all right.
Especially with some of them being away, that is a hard run of games, man. Shit.
Yeah, it's all three of you guys. It's all three of the best teams that are away, and then we got Arsenal at home.
Arsenal,
yeah.
Bloody hell, man. I mean,
Okay, so you get a nice break with Arsenal in between that.
That's where
George, I'll come to you. Like,
yes.
you know, obviously Leeds were the entertainers. They were brilliant to watch. They were refreshing. It was, you know, as they say, a breath of fresh air last season. And obviously it hasn't quite happened in the second season. What's your take on what's been going on with Leeds, and how do you feel about them?
To be honest, I didn't quite expect it to be, I guess, as bad as it is right now, because a lot of people were obviously saying like, oh, second season syndrome, this, that, and the other. But there was just something about, I guess, how Bielsa got Leeds playing last year that it seemed a little bit different. It wasn't quite the same as like Sheffield United, where you know instantly they haven't got the quality there at all to stay in the Prem sort of thing. I feel like Leeds had the quality, but I guess it maybe was the case of not necessarily buying the right players. Because what is it? Was it Rodrigo that was signed in the summer for? It's supposed to be like he signed to basically be the new striker, right?
He was here last season.
Oh,
that's what I mean. You wouldn't remember it, but yeah, he's been here since last season.
He was a record fee, KG, wasn't he? Wasn't he your record fee?
Why are you doing this to me?
But that's my point.
That's
my point. Is that
no, but the funny thing is, when you bought him, a lot of people were quite excited about it. I put him straight in my fantasy league. He was a good player. Like, it wasn't a bad move, to be fair. Do you know
I think
mean?
Rodrigo was a good signing. It just
just to be clear, he's probably a good player, but he needs to go back to Spain, where it will suit him better, because he's not a striker. We put him up front. He does not know how to hit a ball accurately. He goes out wide. He's ineffective. He goes back in midfield. He's a ghost. It's just not working out for him here. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but if someone's to ask a Leeds fan and they're being honest, has he been a success or a flop? He's been a flop, and there's no two ways about it. So and this is what I'm talking about. You have to recognize that as senior management, you have to recognize when someone's not going to work out. So it's up to them to sell Mateusz Klich in the summer, get some money from Holland or Germany for him, because he's still going to be highly rated there as a Polish international. Get some money for Rodrigo. There was teams interested in him. You have to do that and get him some players that will just be a little bit better, more quality on the ball. I've already said it on my channel many times. I don't want any more runners now. I want some people that can put their foot on the ball and create something from midfield, because we're getting zero from central midfield right now.
Yeah,
this is the
no,
thing. It feels like
that's understandable, man.
yeah, I was just saying. Obviously, like I mean, we all know it, but like Bamford being missing for a long time is a huge factor when you haven't got that second striker to sort of rely on at all. Like you said, like where are the goals going to come from? The fact that Rafinha's, what was it, nearly 50% of the goals or 67% of the goals is like, that just can't run in any team sort of thing.
It's too much.
It's way
too much. And you know, on that Rafinha thing, it's like, you know, because he does so much that if he's not like looking a 10 out of 10, some fans will go, oh, he didn't do much. It's like, are you crazy? Like, this guy is literally a lifeline in this whole team. And you want to, of all the players that you want to pick out, you want to pick Rafinha to say he didn't do as much as he could have. Are you mad? Like, sometimes you just have to just leave it alone and say,
probably just like expecting him to carry the whole team every
like
single
he's supposed
time.
to do it. Yeah, like he's supposed to do it every week, man. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, the thing is as well with the Rodrigo thing of you saying he needs to go back to Spain. It isn't. I know you're not even being shady because it's facts. No. Because you look at someone like Diego Forlan, you look at someone like Iago Aspas. They are brilliant players in the Spanish league, and it just didn't work in the Premier League. Like sometimes it just doesn't work.
A good example for us was bloody Soldado. He was
Soldado.
He was the third top striker behind Ronaldo and Messi, and like he looked like a great player. Comes here and scores one penalty for us, like, and that's it. Like, sometimes it just flops. Like,
sometimes it happens like that. And again, because I don't hate anybody or anything like that, but I've got to look out for the best interest of my club, and my club will always come first because I'll be here way after these players, you know, health will enough. Obviously, I'll be long here after these players are gone. So you have to look out for the interest of your club. They can be the nicest guy after pitch. That don't mean nothing to me if you're not doing it on the pitch.
No, that's true, man. So just quickly before we move on from Leeds, Matt, I know you want Rafinha, but just as a little devil's advocate, if you was the Leeds hierarchy, and you know that he is as important to you as he is, would you look past the money and be like, we've just got to try and find a way to convince him that it's the right place to be and keep him, because it could be detrimental to our Premier League survival if we do actually let him go? Or would you be like, look, if somebody's offering 70, 80 million, which he's easily worth now, like, we just got to take the money. Like, how would you look at it if you were the board?
Rafinha, as KG has already said various times, he's their talisman. So it's like they've either got a back. This is how you got to do it. They have a back Bielsa if there is money there, and I say if, and say, listen, we need more players in to build a team around him and make him know that this season was kind of a fluke, and hopefully they kind of go back to what they were doing last season. Although I do feel like the injuries have really affected them as to why they've been a bit more pragmatic. However, if a bid does come in from whoever it may be for, like, as you said, about 70, 80 million, I've got a funny feeling Leeds will cash in. And not only that, I think Raf might look at it and go, yeah, I kind of feel like I need to maybe test my talents elsewhere, because listen, KG knows it better than anyone. He is so good to the point where he actually literally does everything. Yeah. And you can only do that for so long before you start getting a little bit frustrated, because I think me and Kay were speaking about this like even weeks before. Like, there's times when he will literally beat two man, run down the wing, cut inside, lays it off for someone, and all they got to do pretty much is hit the target, yeah? And then they fluff their lines. And he kind of does the thing of like, bro, like, what more could I have done for you? Like,
Matt, it's like when he gets back from Brazil, he's playing with Neymar and all them, then he comes back and has to play with some of these guys. Like there's
Tyler Roberts.
And the thing is, and people think that they don't take things like this into account. Players always take things like this into account. And you're right in what you're saying in terms of Rafinha staying. I almost resigned that he's going to go next season, but Radrizzani keeps on coming out with these statements. Our owner, by the way, people, that we're going to push for top 6 next season. Now, if that is even remotely true, that means there's going to be an overhaul. So that the only way that we're going to get Rafinha to stay, because he came from a Champions League club to a newly promoted team, so he must have believed something in the project. Agreed. The only way that players like him and Calvin Phillips stay past this season is if the team improves around them. That's the only way, because even Phillips is showing his frustrations lately. And the worst thing is, you know, there's some Leeds fans that think he's getting too big for his boots kind of thing. You know, he needs to remember where he comes from. I hate that kind of stuff. All it is now is that he knows he's going to England playing with Man City, Liverpool, Man United players. They're all saying, hey,
literally
Cal,
England Player of the Year as well.
Cal, literally England Player of the Year. They're saying, Cal, you could come to Liverpool. You know, Henderson might be slowing down a bit, or in the near future, come over to Liverpool. Man City, you know, compete with Rodri. Man United, you better than McTominay. Of course, he's going to hear these kind of things and think maybe I could do better. It's only natural for where his stock is in the football world right now. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Let's just get this season out of the way for us. It's taken forever to go, though. I will say this season's the longest season I've experienced in a while.
I can imagine.
You know what's funny? Yeah, that
big up Grizz
Rafinha
Khan
guy
in the chat as well. Big up
that
Grizz Khan
big up man like Grizz every time.
I
remember when I was at school and I did really well in my SATs exams and I got bumped up to the top class in maths. And I remember, like, I didn't know many people in the class. And, like, obviously I was with all my boys before when I was in the one down. And I remember, like, I used to be in the playground at playtime, playing with all my friends or whatever. And then the bell will go. And then I've got to go off and they're all still together. And then I've got to go in the other class. I don't really know anyone. And it was almost like I felt I was being punished for being good. You know what I mean? It's like, I've got to go in. I don't even really like anyone in this class. I don't know anyone. And it was almost like, let me just be a bit more like slack for a little while and get put back down into that class. I can hang out with my boys again. Like it's that, you know, that's a kind of similar feeling that he must get when he's with Brazil. He's with his boys, he's all balling out, and then he's like,
but and just one thing on Rafinha though, but even though he's integrated into Leeds so well, it's not. I'm not saying he's Leeds through and through, but what I'm saying is that the dressing room absolutely loves him. All the players love him. Obviously, the fans do, and he appreciates that in turn. It just so comes now where he sees his career going after this season.
Hey, look, listen, if he wants to progress before, like we've got a right wing spot open. We've got already a right wing back from Brazil.
You got Moura, though. You got Moura.
Rafinha's a massive step up from Moura, man. Let's be real. Let's be real. He is. But listen, he could be with him in the squad, with Emerson as well. We've got that whole Brazilian right side. Perfect.
Does Moura still get called up to the Brazil team, George?
No. How could he?
No.
I don't know. I haven't paid any attention.
I think literally,
I don't think he has for a while.
Anthony and a couple other players on that side.
Yeah, Anthony from Ajax, isn't it? Not for them man ahead. But you know,
that's who I want Liverpool to get, man.
Just the last thing though on Rafinha, though, I do think this is, and I think KG probably feels it as well. Like, if you're a betting man, I probably feel like it will be his last season. Because I do think that people are going to really test the waters, whether that's us, whether that's, as you said, George, Spurs, whether it's PSG as well.
I've said PSG. Matt, I've said because Neymar loves him, man. Neymar and him become friends. I can see where Mbappe goes to Real Madrid.
Yes,
or Liverpool, if you want to believe some of the rumors. But then he wants his international teammate Rafinha to replace him. Now, I personally would love that, so I don't have to see him in another Premier League.
No, of course you would. That makes
you
the
go
most
straight
sense.
to get the Nike store, get a PSG.
You know, KG's getting that PSG top as well
with the Jordan,
100%.
The Jordan.
But no, I can just see it's going to be his last season, and it will be like it's a tough one for him for his career because, as Kay said, you can see how much he loves Leeds and how much he's adored by the fans, how much obviously his peers rate him. But there's going to come that time, and I think it is this season, it's the crossroads. It's so magic because let's say, for example, you guys did a massive turnaround and you were able to kind of finish like 7th or even 6th. Like, let's say you had an amazing, which I don't think will happen, by the way. No. That's the only way I think he kind of stays because then he'll be like, okay, cool, we're a bad start. We've pulled things together and I've been promised by the board that we're going to improve. However, I just don't see that as being likely. The more likely is I think he gets sold.
Matt, you see, like there's a comment there from Dustin saying more than 40 to 50 is crazy. That's crazy to me because if he's doing everything he's doing right now for Leeds in a Liverpool shirt, you guys are calling him world class. I promise you. You're just underrating it because he's not at a big club. So that's that big club bias that some people have got. But he is literally again. He's a match winner. Like when people talk about him and Saint Maximin, is an insult because Saint Maximin has one good game every bloody 15 games. Otherwise, he's chucking the ball down the corner flag and everything else like that. Rafinha's got end product as well as the flair. So you got to pay the going rate. And he'll want you to pay the going rate too. He'll want you to pay the going rate. He expects that.
Yeah, I reckon he goes, in my opinion, Kay, I think he goes for between 70 and 80. I genuinely feel like that. And if not, it's 65, like the lowest I can see. The
65
lowest
was the number that was in my head, but
it's the lowest, and that's only because maybe that's maybe pressure from him. Like say like a club comes in that he wants to go to, and he adds on that pressure.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
when I think,
of course, if that happens,
that's when I
of
think
course
Leeds
you're
will
gonna
go.
have to negotiate.
My only thing as well with saying 65 is I feel like there's been a slight correction in the market in terms of the price of players. I feel like Barcelona going massively under, given the fact that they spent like 120 mil on Ousmane Dembele and 120 on Griezmann and all other stuff, and obviously COVID.
Well, that's on them. That's on them. We're not.
I know, but I know
correction.
Premier League clubs are kind of fine, but even with the whole COVID situation, I do feel like money's just dropped a lot in football in general. Like you're talking about the giants, like Bayern Munich, are really struggling as well, sort of thing to like buy big players. But of course, if it's like a Liverpool or any sort of Premier League club, he's probably can demand whatever. But
no, it will be interesting. It will be interesting. I don't think Leeds will let him go for any less than 70 personally. If you get him for 65, I reckon you'd have to pay it all. I think if you want to do installments, which is the normal kind of thing, I think you're gonna have to pay 70 or more. Leeds aren't stupid.
What's his contract situation? Has he got like
Leeds owner knows his way around money. Do you know what I mean? He's no mug. So the way I see him talking about how he hates that the bigger clubs are trying to get around financial fair play and stuff like that. If a bigger club comes in, he's going to be like, well, you ain't flexing your muscle around here, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and sorry, just one more thing for Dustin. He's saying Salah was better than him at Roma and we paid 40 million. Italian league is way different to Premier League.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't even make that.
We bought Lamella to replace Bale from Roma, and look how that turned out.
Bro, Roma, in that time there, Roma, remember, they had even financial problems anyway. It had nothing even to do about who you thought was better. Roma were always going to accept that lower fee because Leeds aren't in a financial position like that, in the sense of, obviously, the financial backing you have is very different. And obviously, the royalties and whatnot you get from the Prem is very different. So you can always command a higher fee. And let's not act like the Prem tax ain't a big thing. So anyone that wanted to buy for the Prem, you might as well add on that Prem tax, whether that's 10 mil, 15 mil, 12 mil, 7 mil, you're going to have to add on to that. So yeah, I agree with you, Kay. It's completely different. Completely different.
No, it's about assets, man. It's about assets. All right. Well, it'll be interesting. And obviously, when we get onto the predictions, we'll talk about Leeds in the upcoming game this week. So I'm going to switch it to you now, George. I see you're happy. Before we came on, you know, you was like, actually, it's four, Matt. It's actually 4. Conte. Now he was actually quite vocal about there weren't good enough players, but he did it in a polite way.
Look at George trying to hide that smile. Look at George trying to hide that
smile. He wasn't rude, but he let us know, look, guys, this is a bigger job than I thought it was going to be. Do you get what I mean? And there's definitely a lot I'm going to have to change. But you lot are doing well in recent results, man. You're doing a lot better than you was before. So my question to you, bro, is Conte finally figuring out who does what, who goes where, who's capable of what? And until he can bring in his own players, is he getting what you now know needed to be got out of players you have for you to be able to push and definitely get a European spot? But maybe even with that 4th spot opening up, maybe can Conte push you lot and go for a top 4 push?
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it there with the with the fact that he kind of knows already, because it was pretty. You could tell from pretty early on he knew his best 11 very, very early on, sort of thing. So we seem to be playing pretty much the same team every week. Obviously, if there's an injury, whatever. But and I'm glad he called out the players saying they're not good enough, because I think that's one issue that Mourinho had at the start, was that he basically accepted that the squad was already good. And then was kind of like, oh, I'll take on the additions and whatever, which didn't really help too much, because like us fans all knew there were just so many players in our squad that just weren't good enough, had to be shifted on, needed to replace them. So I'm happy he's just come in and just said, look, realistically, like these guys are not good enough. I need the right players, which thank God, because we need to start moving them on. And no, I think if I'm being honest, like I think he's just improved his the tactics of the team massively. Like you can tell we're playing in a certain way every single game. We might not have all the possession every game. Like I think Norwich had more possession than us, but it didn't matter, because I think he prides himself on having just more clinical chances when we do have them. And we seem to be doing that better and better each game. I can't lie, it's not been perfect. And the teams that we have played recently, we should be beating them, but I'm not being funny. Under previous managers or just in recent times, I'm not confident going into any game. Whereas now, I feel a lot more confident with Conte in charge, seeing him animated on the touchline every minute of the match, not even just telling the players on the ball what to do. He would instantly swap to tell Højbjerg, right, you fill in that space, this, that, and the other. It's just great seeing that passion again. And I can see us just progressing every week, which is great. It's just to get us to that next level, to secure the 4th spot, we have to bring in better quality, man. We have to, because as well as Davis and Dyer may have done so far this season, given their abilities, it's just simply not good enough going forward. And that's what I was saying with Lucas Moura earlier. We saw his goal against Norwich was an unbelievable goal, but it doesn't come around anywhere near often enough. He'll probably score that sort of goal once a season, and his sort of goal and assist ratio is it's really, really poor for a right winger for us. So I think there's areas we just need to improve in January, help us potentially secure 4th, and then hopefully go big in the summer to take the next step. If that's Conte's plan anyway. So it's down to us to sort of back him, really.
No, before I come to my next question, George, did I miss any super chats, Matt? Just quickly, because I don't want to.
Just a 2 so far. So
Cool.
Nino says, greetings, guys. Hope all is well. Personally, I love Stevie so much. Part of me doesn't want him anywhere near the job after Klopp. So I'll say that's regarding, obviously, we was talking about Steven Gerrard earlier in the show.
After seeing Lampard at Chelsea, I kind of get where you're coming from.
I understand that 100%. Yeah.
I fully understand that as well. And Ash also says, this is to you, KG. Will the 49ers takeover be a good thing, KG?
If it happens, I mean, Radrazani again came out on Twitter as he does and kind of rubbished the report that there's no deal in place. He just wanted everyone to stop speculating over it. So, but of course, any takeover that comes will be a benefit, because Radrazani's already said he hasn't got the funds to do this much longer. So, and he'll be cashing out at a very handsome price too. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's American ownership, which is obviously very hit and miss, but we're just gonna have to wait and see when the time comes.
I'm not gonna lie, that went straight off my head. You know, I don't really know that much about American sports, so.
No, but you've got American owners. I meant like American ownership in the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean like the 49ers. I was even trying to realize
in that regard.
I was even trying to remember who the
NFL,
49ers.
Yeah, NFL.
That's NFL. Okay, cool.
Hey, just before we move on from Spurs, because I've seen him being banded around now on loan, I could see Conte going for him. What about Wijnaldum on loan at Spurs for that midfield spot?
Would you take him, George?
It's not a bad shout, to be honest with you. I actually haven't given that much thought at all. That's definitely an area we need to improve, in my opinion. I think Skip's definitely making his own for that defensive mid role. And I do like Højbjerg, but if we're playing this 3-4-3, that second midfielder that's kind of not as defensive needs to be a much, much better ball carrier than what Højbjerg is. I think Højbjerg breaks up play brilliantly, but again, is not that great at transitioning from defense to attack. So I feel that's not a bad shout. I thought Ndombele could have been it, but clearly is
just about the same, George. All right, so I'll be honest, I haven't watched your last couple of games properly. I've only seen like highlights, but what is the situation with Ndombele? Because I thought, if you're gonna play like you said, like Højbjerg, the guy that breaks up play, wouldn't Ndombele be the perfect guy to then transition with the ball because he's so good at driving forward? Or is it what's going on with him?
Look, I've always loved Ndombele. I still do love Ndombele because he's one of the very few players I've seen at my club recently that he excites me so much when he's on the ball. And I feel like I always kind of resemble him to what Dembele was like when he was at Spurs, in the sense that if the ball's at his feet and he's got it at his feet, no one's getting it off of him. No one is getting the ball off of from his feet. He's just so techy and so good. But the issue is, and we've seen it in a lot of games, it's his off the ball movement, which has just not been anywhere near good enough. Anywhere near. He's not necessarily driving into spaces unless he's got the ball at his feet, which with the way Conte plays, he absolutely needs every single player to work and move and drive into certain spaces, even if they're not even anywhere near the ball. And I feel like that's been his issue. He just doesn't offer that side of it at the moment. So I think if he had that ability, then I think he would be the perfect player to have in midfield for us. But it's just that, man. And to be fair, I see a comment saying about his fitness levels. Like, that may have been an excuse before, but he played 90 minutes constantly at the start of the season under Nuno. Constantly. His fitness has improved massively since last season. So I don't think it's actually even a fitness issue anymore. I think it's just a genuine will when he hasn't got the ball at his feet to maybe drive and ask for the ball. I think that's the difference. And like I mean, Carragher picked up on a game last year against Burnley. Like he didn't want to go and collect the ball and receive the ball and then drive it. It was just kind of a situation where he would let everyone else do the work. Then when he gets the ball, then he does his magic sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's areas he needs to improve, but there's rumors that we might be looking just to call it quits, shift them on, and bring someone else in that's willing to do the work. So
you know what it is with Ndombele? We've all played football here on like an amateur or maybe a semi-pro level. So you don't. I think one thing that people kind of forget about. We all do it as fans. We all do it on a professional level. When you get to a Premier League type kind of situation, there's so many instructions and there's so much strategy and there's so much tactics involved that the players themselves don't enjoy football the way we would when we're just like on the Sunday league and we're just like, we train once a week and then we go out and we just have fun with our friends kind of thing. And players like Ndombele who love football and just love playing it, I think they hate that side of it. And you can kind of tell because it's like, right, you need to do this, do that, do this, do that. And they're kind of like, I just want to enjoy this. And you got me running around, you got me doing all this crap. Pogba, you know, there's a couple of players I think you can kind of tell that they've got too much talent for them to not play, but they're frustrating because they almost have to become like a luxury player because, you know, they're not going to fully buy into everything you need them to do on a tactical level. And I think they get, you know what I mean? They get like Neymar, for example, players like that, they're so good at what they do. They don't want to do all this running and tracking and pressing and all. They're like, oh, who's got time for all that? But if they kind of don't get that modern football is all about that now. It's about tactics and about, do you get what I mean? And it must be frustrating for them as much as it's frustrating for the manager and for us because you got to understand all sides of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think just certain players just suit certain types of games and certain types of leagues. Like I personally think, and I've said it for a while, I think he would be a perfect fit at Barcelona with how they want to play and the amount of space he'd get in a Liga. I think PSG as well. Like I think he's definitely good enough to play for these sort of teams. It's just maybe in a league or in a team and a system where it allows him just to have that freedom to kind of play how he wants. So I guess if, I don't know, some sort of Ndombele Wijnaldum swap deal could be on the cards. Who knows? Who knows?
Sorry, just the reason why I say Wijnaldum, because I saw him being linked with a couple of Premier League teams today, and I just think that if a team in the Champions League isn't going to go for him, that's why Tottenham have got a manager like Conte, because these guys can get players like that to them. Yeah. And then I'm going to say, listen, we're going to go for the top four. If we get top four, we want you permanently, and you're my guy. That's what happens sometimes with managers of Conte's ilk.
100%.
Yeah, I'd be really disappointed to watch one of my favourites play for another Premier League side. Watching him outside the Premier League is all right, but watching him play for Spurs would kind of hurt me a bit still, I'm not going to lie.
No, definitely. And just to even, sorry, Jeff, just to add to that kind of Ndombele thing as well. I remember following Ndombele, and this is going back to what you're saying, Jeff, about like how like instructions and whatnot and how we might perceive things, but let's not sleep on the fact that Ndombele played for Lyon, yeah, and for a little while as well. And he stood out there. Now, obviously, the French league, even at that time, was easier than what it is now. And he done his thing. But I always felt like even at Lyon, his work ethic was never the greatest. Like, because I remember Lyon used to play like a 4-2-3-1, and there was like a destroyer next to him. I can't remember who it was. And he was the guy that kind of carried the ball. But when Lyon had to kind of like chase the ball, you just seeing kind of labouring, and that's kind of like a hard.
They had like Alwar and then Fekir as well at Lyon, I think, at the time.
Yeah, they did, and it's a hard thing to get other players. So even though I agree with what you're saying, George, about him, like maybe from a technical point of view, playing for Barca, I don't think he has that work ethic. Like I generally don't. Like he's never been that type of player. He's almost like you have to play him, in my opinion, like a 3-man midfield. And like you kind of need to have like kind of 2 robust midfielders kind of either side of him, and you will get the best out of him. Because obviously when he's got the ball, he's magical. But when he hasn't got the ball,
if they've got Busquets and De Jong like to do all that work, and then he's the one that's kind of more attacking and further up.
But what if Xavi wants them to press? Remember, Xavi's philosophy was going back to old Barca. Remember when they used to do the group press, and when you lose the ball, they want it back in like I think it's like 3 to 5 seconds. He ain't that guy.
His youngsters at the moment are doing that, like Javi and
Pedri,
all of them, and they're like definitely
they're
pressing a
hounding.
lot harder.
Yeah, they're hounding and pressing for the ball. Whereas I don't see him doing that. But from a techie point of view, yeah, he can. I just think someone needs to sit him down and kind of unlock that whole, bro. We know how good you are. We know you're talented, but with talent, you have to do the hard work. You have to grind. I feel that once
Matt. I mean, listen, his previous managers said it, and even Conte said it, that he needs to do work for the team and not for himself. So
we actually had that sit down chat already. He wanted to leave last summer, I think, and then Daniel Levy actually sat down with him, got him, and he did improve after that chat and did start playing better and more for the team. But again, it just doesn't seem to be enough ever, really. So
I can imagine a team like Juve maybe being able to get the best out of him.
Juve are the ones recently that have been heavily linked with him.
But there you go then. So we'll there you go. Yeah, I think in the Italian league he'd really ball out.
Juve ain't getting nobody.
Yeah, they're struggling. To be fair, but we want I never know how to pronounce his name. Kulusevski. Kulusevski.
The winger. Is it a winger?
The winger. So there could be some sort of swap deal situations.
So, Cage, I haven't actually looked into that Juve stuff. I heard the rumours, and I haven't even paid any attention to it. Is it real, the accusations against them?
It's they're being investigated for transfer dealings because of but your current director of football, George,
it was him, Nedved, and I can't remember who the other person is. There was three of them being investigated.
Yeah, so they're looking at Juventus transfers again. There's a possibility that they might be doing that whole Serie C thing again, or
which would be mad.
Yeah, and them man, they just don't learn. If that's the case, they don't learn, man.
To be fair, they got their 13 league titles or whatever, so they'll just reset.
You're right.
Come again in 4 years or whatever, and then just do it again.
It's true.
That's mad. If that happens again, that is mad. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, you need to get like maybe sanctioned even harder because you just didn't learn your lesson the first time. Almost, they'll be like, "You're gonna do it again." Like, come on, man.
Amateur football, Sunday league.
You remember when they went down though? They were absolutely cooking those leagues, man.
They were
fun and all these guys.
Oh, they still had Trezeguet. Remember, Trezeguet went down.
They kept hold of most of them.
They were cooking.
They Buffon and Pirlo and them, man. They kept hold of the majority of them, to be fair.
They were cooking every week.
They knew they were just going to come back straight up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a funny call.
But, yeah, so just to finish up on Spurs before we move on, George, what is your realistic expectation of your finish for this season after what Conte's done? And because he's only got an 18-month contract, you know that he's got January and then the summer, and then he might even not be here for another transfer window if things don't go well. Do you think your board is going to fully back him? Like, is this going to be go hard or go home now? So in January, Spurs going to be one of the biggest movers in the window, do you think?
No, I think 100%. Like this point, I know it's like the typical thing to say, oh, Spurs never spend this, that, and the other, but I'm not being funny. Like, for everything that's happening around the fans and the chat around the fans, like, it is quite literally make or break with the owners at the moment. Like there's a lot of hatred towards the owners right now, and they cocked up again with the Nuno appointment. Like they just seem to be messing up left, right, and center with everything. And now they've finally done something right in getting in Conte, which just was a bit unexpected, really. Well, completely unexpected given our situation. And it's just one of them ones where you don't bring in someone like Conte if you aren't seriously, going to invest and back him up, because then again, that's just another huge L on them if they don't, and then he just walks away. And then I'm telling you now, there is going to be some serious backlash from the fans if they don't back him properly. And to be honest with you, there's still, we talked about, we moved on the fact that we moved on a few of the deadwood in the summer, like the likes of Sissoko, Lamella. Obviously, Rose ended up leaving on a free, kind of just like freeing up spaces, but it's still nowhere near enough. Like the likes of Winks, Dele, Davis, Dyer, like there's way too many still at the club. So I fully expect us to be some of the biggest movers in the market in January and the summer.
And one thing I will say is that if Levy breaks his promise to Conte, it won't go even as smoothly as Harry Kane's has. Conte will tell everybody, and he'll tell exactly why he's left. So
Yeah,
they can't risk that.
yeah, he will.
That is facts, you know.
Yeah, sticking with you, KG, with the Tottenham situation. Where realistically do you think Tottenham will finish at the end of this season?
See, for me, the coaching is a big part of it, and it's a shame that Ali's gone now from Man United. But
I know.
there's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason why while they've got Conte in charge, and if they do get a couple of astute signings in January, why they can't challenge for the top four. I'm not saying they'll finish in the top four, but you have to believe in someone. You don't get a coach like that just to hope you finish 7th or 6th. So for me, they can challenge for the top four as long as they get in a couple more quality bodies in January.
And the thing is, you got to remember as well. Now we've got the Brighton game postponed as well, but if we win our game in hand against Burnley, we are in the top four ahead of West Ham. So, and that's already now with the squad that we've got, kind of taking advantage of everyone else. Granted, the teams we played so far under Conte haven't been necessarily the top dogs, but
all right, man. All right,
it's still. Right, what, man? No, but on a real, that like we're already like knocking on the door massively for top four, and we haven't even come close to making the signings and whatever that we're pretty much promised. So I'm looking forward to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting. Matt, just quickly, where do you think Tottenham might finish based on their current form and Conte, obviously?
Just quickly, before we get into that, it's one quick super chat, Jeff. This is from Ash. So if Wijnaldum ends up in a Chelsea shirt in Jan, that will be soul destroying. Big rumor is Chelsea want him in Jan. Do you saying that as well, Jeff? If you see
I can't. And I saw a couple of people saying Arsenal really are chasing him as well.
How many midfielders does Chelsea want?
It will hurt.
I think they terminate that Sal.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think they would get rid of him.
He's got to be flop of the season, surely. So.
Yeah.
He's looking like a Rodrigo situation where he's good in Spain and just the Prem's just not the one for a minute.
No, it's looked worse than that.
It's got to be worse.
No, he's been worse than Rodrigo, but I mean, it's the same type of thing. I don't think the Premier League's just not for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But then Tuchel's playing him left wing back midweek as well, and it's just like,
yeah, it made no sense.
What are you doing? It's never going to work out.
For real.
But yeah, so just quickly, bro, where do you think they'll finish? Where do you think Tottenham? If you had to put your money in today, where do you think Tottenham will finish?
Obviously, I don't think they'll do top four. I think they'll finish because obviously I'm thinking top four in no order, like Liverpool, City, Chelsea.
That's definitely your order, by the way.
No, I said no order. I said no order. I'm just giving a vague, a vague one, so to speak. I think Man United will creep in. I think Man United will have enough. So do you know what? I'm gonna say Spurs finish above everyone else. So you like Leicester, who I don't know what's happened to Brendan Rodgers, fam. Like the Rodgers tax is just getting higher and higher.
They've been very, very inconsistent.
Very bad. Gerrard showed him up already. I know that's sweet for Stevie because I know he holds a little bit of resentment after what happened in terms of towards the end of his career, and he kind of felt like he'd have done one more year potentially at Liverpool. So I know Stevie.
No, you know what? He's actually got a lot of love and respect for Brendan. You know, we see some of the interviews. He actually rates Brendan highly.
We all saw Gerrard's face when he was dropped for the Bernabeu game, fam. Let's not even.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was not pleased. But no, going back to Spurs, I think they get fifth. You know, I think they'll get fifth, and I think they'll push Man United close for fourth because, as George said, Conte's coming now. Obviously, it wasn't the greatest of starts, but you can see like the improvements he's starting to make. Even if they're not playing great, amazing attacking football, they're a bit harder to break down. They're a bit more workmanlike, and I think they're being a little bit more. What's the word I would say? They're looking a lot more Conte-esque, so to speak. You can trying to implement the DNA into that team. Trust me, if Spurs get, like what George said, some decent players in the summer, that's where you got to watch out for Spurs next season. But this season, I think they can still finish in a decent position, which I think is fifth. Because I think if you ask them to finish fourth, with the squad that they have, you're asking for too much. Because as good as the players that they do have, we all know Spurs need to kind of get rid of a few and, you know what I mean, and recycle some players. And not only that, they kind of need to unlock Harry Kane. I don't know what is going on with this guy. I really don't. But ever since the whole thing with Man City in the summer, he don't even look remotely close to the player from last season. I don't know whether he's mental, whether he kind of felt like in his mind that he was going to get the move,
Yeah.
and he's like,
I think that's the main part of it.
Yes, someone kind of has to like, just clap him in the face.
I will say though, he before Conte, his body language was atrocious. Like you could tell he didn't want to be there at all. He has looked a lot better in the matches. Like in terms of how he's playing, he's looked better. And even against Norwich, I mean, he had like a bottom corner shot save from Krul. It's weirdly enough the only attribute that hasn't been good recently.
It's the finishing, isn't it?
It's the finishing, and that's his best. That's his best bit, which is weird because he's had chances. He had like a few one-on-ones, but on his left foot that missed inside netting and stuff. So he is definitely getting better now, and feels like he wants to play now that Conte's here. It's just weirdly he can't finish at the moment, which no one can really work out like why that's the case. Because
for real.
No, I mean, I was going to ask this question, make a bit more of a topic on it with Aaron being here, but obviously he's not. But I'll still kind of honor Man United and just briefly ask you. That I'll go around. Ralph, obviously has had 1 or 2 games now at Man United, and they definitely look better. And to be fair to them, they even look better under Carrick, which kind of goes to show that maybe the players were kind of throwing Ollie under the bus a bit, because Carrick's part of the same coaching team that Ollie was there, and it's kind of weird to me that was even the case. But with Ralph coming in. Just briefly, I'll go around. KG, is Ralph going to get Man United back into 4th? And do you think they will have a good end to the season now?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, wasn't it? You would have lucked the 4 that we've said with a good coach, and I think that's what it's taken. And I think he'll probably do that for Manchester United. For me, they're the favourites to get back into 4th. They've just got the experience and know-how that West Ham probably don't. I would love to see West Ham actually break it, in all fairness, because I think West Ham are a really good side. But I just think the know-how of a good coach, you can see that they've got it back. They've got the vim back. They've got the confidence back. They all look like they want to play again. Bruno's shooting properly again. So, yeah, I can see Man United getting that 4th spot.
Cool. George, I do think Ralph's doing, and how do you think he'll get them 4th?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great appointment, and again, it's like one of them ones where Man United haven't been known recently for making right footballing decisions, but I think that was one, to be honest with you. I do think the more crucial part was getting him the consultancy role afterwards, so the new manager is, because I do think that is kind of the best thing that he can offer right now. But of course, like, I mean, we spoke about it before, that the kind of the people he's brought through as managers like around Europe. And so, like, it's kind of like the grandfather coming back to kind of teach everyone a lesson still. Like, I feel like, I think it's a good appointment. We already knew they had, like, I picked them to do well in the league at the beginning of the season, just purely based on their squad alone. So now the fact that they've actually got a good coach there, I think it's going to make a big difference. And I think that's probably, like, as much as obviously I want us to be there, I would say Man United are probably the favourites to get 4th again.
Yeah. And Matt, do you think Man United will get 4th?
Oh, is he frozen?
Oh, is he frozen? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he is. I thought he was being really still for a second there.
Yeah. I thought I was just intently thinking about the question. I will have to wait for him to unfreeze a bit. In fact, let me check if he starred any.
I think that was it.
Yeah, no. That he got them all there. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that we hadn't lost any of the super chats. All right, so we got this week's games coming up. I was going to get Matt to bring up the fixtures, but we'll jump straight in. I'll start with you then, George. Obviously, this will be your 4th game in a row. If you win this, you're building up a little bit of a run now.
They're not playing.
We're not playing now.
Oh yeah, you're not playing, are you? Yeah. And you reminded me about that. But you know what? Let's just briefly talk about that in terms of, like, so you've got a Europa League game that you have to now play at some point.
Yep.
You've got 2 Premier League games that you're going to have to catch up on now as well.
Yeah.
With the way the fixtures are, this is going to be a bit crazy for Tottenham, isn't it?
And I'm not being funny. Potentially, I think it will still go ahead, but there is a potential that Leicester on Thursday won't go ahead either, because they've also got COVID issues. Not to the extent we do, but Brendan Rodgers said that a lot of players couldn't travel to Napoli for their game today because of injuries and illnesses and COVID-related issues. So if our players or everyone's not ready by next week and they've got some issues as well, we could potentially be missing that game, that'll end up being a disaster for us, because we'll have to start cramming them in I don't even know when, to be honest with you, because I think the Conference League games need to be finished by the end of the year, by December 31st, regardless. And after seeing today's results, I think Vitesse won 3-1 or something like that. Like, we effectively have to beat Rennes potentially by 2 goals minimum, sort of thing. So we kind of have, if we want to progress, which the club probably want to do, don't think the fans really care, but the club wants to progress. So I think we have to play that by the 31st. Where do you fit that in? Because we're already playing 2 games a week, by the end of the season. And then I think the only thing is, if we do get knocked out of that competition, you could probably then play these games like Brighton and Burnley. You could probably play them like midweek on a Thursday, February or something, when the Europa Conference League would have been, sort of thing. So I don't think it's too bad in that sense, but it is a bit frustrating that we've actually like picked up this form and now we're missing 3 games in 2 weeks, sort of thing, minimum. It's just not enjoyable, really. And I saw, I'm not being funny, I thought it was ridiculous the amount of salty like Arsenal fans or whoever it may be, all being like, oh, we had to play our game at the beginning with Brentford when we had COVID. They like ravaged COVID, and like they had 4 cases. They didn't say to the Prem that they wanted to postpone the game. Like, it's the team that has to come forth and request it. And it was nothing anywhere near of what we've had in this situation now. Like, just from a human standpoint, they had to call off these games, because if it's spreading so quickly at our game and then we give it to Rennes and then we go give it to Brighton and then they go and play whoever next week and spread it everywhere, like it's just, it can't go ahead. So just frustrating, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's not ideal, because even like the dinner ladies and stuff, innit? Like, it's actually quite bad at your team at the moment.
They closed everything to do with the first team, and now I think the under-23s as well. In like our training center, because originally it was just the first team stuff, but they've had 3 cases in the under-23s yesterday or today as well. So I think it's pretty much only the women's that is like kind of going ahead in the training ground. Everything else is, everyone else is like isolating at home, sort of thing.
Fair enough, man. Well,
apologies, guys. Sorry, my internet's just cut.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Man's on the 4G thing right now. It's actually peak. It's actually peak. You don't understand.
Are you able to bring up the this week's fixtures, or is the 4G moving too mad for you?
That's going to be hard. But what I can do is I can tell you the fixtures.
Okay, because I can't remember who Man U and Arsenal and
this weekend. That's cool. That's cool. I can tell you the fixtures. So obviously, who do you want to start with first, bro?
We'll go to Leeds now, obviously.
Okay, cool. So Chelsea at home to Leeds. So obviously Leeds away to Chelsea. Sorry.
Yeah. So obviously we'll start with you, KG, on that one. How'd you feel about that game, bro?
Well, I did a full preview with Carefree Lewis G earlier on my channel. If people want to check that out. But in regards to
check that out, people.
Chelsea have got bodies missing, but yeah, I mean, listen, I'll keep going.
But look, KG, let's be fair. Their form isn't the greatest. Their form isn't the greatest.
Drifty, please. It's not like that. They're not the greatest. Neither is our form either. We have to be completely honest. If there's one thing I'm, is completely honest when it comes to my team, and we're not playing that great. We can hardly score over 1 goal a game. This was another thing as well last season when we were 1-0 up. I was confident, I was loving it. But this season, I'm like, we got 1, we need another, because it's been proven we've lost like 12 points from winning positions at 1-0. Whereas the year before it was 6, year before that it was 6, year before that it was 5. So it just shows you again that everything is just not right. So for me, I'm going with a 2-0 Chelsea win and just hope my team can prove me wrong. That's all I can hope for.
No, that's fair dues. I mean, on the Chelsea thing, just quickly, and none of Lewis, it's kind of funny as well, because KG, to be fair, you haven't made any excuses about injuries. You haven't.
No.
But Arsenal at the beginning of the season, Chelsea now, like a lot of our rivals for the title, they like mocked us all year. You lot are just chatting rubbish. Boo-hoo, get the violence out and all that. And then like now all of a sudden, like Chelsea, for an example, Chilwell gets an injury, which is a bad injury, and I wish him well. I hope he comes back as quick as possible. But that they get 1 or 2 injuries, like Kante and Chilwell, and then they're like, it's the injuries, and we're like, guys, you laughed at us last year, you mocked us, you told us that we had no excuse, and Chelsea's squad cost way more than ours. Do you know what I mean? So can Chelsea turn around now with Kante and then just start going, Loftus-Cheek was meant to be like a prodigy, right? You just bring him in. It's meant to be a seamless transition, right? Like, I don't know, man. Irony, innit? The irony.
Yeah, I mean, their injury list is getting a bit longer, though, because like you mentioned there, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who would come in, I think he's doubtful with a back strain as well. I think
is he injured as well now?
I think Jorginho might be out. Kante's out. Obviously, Chilwell's done. Lukaku's still getting back into full fitness. So they are hitting in key areas as well. Whether it's karma for mucking you guys last year, I have no idea. But I can see why they say that. But I think that they will have more than enough in the tank with the way that they keep possession. And also as well, I think of it from a Chelsea point of view. If I'm a Chelsea fan and I've got Leeds coming up with no Calvin Phillips and just Rafinha, no Bamford, I would expect 3 points at the bridge. I would. So that's the way I have to look at it as well.
Well, I'm hoping that with Rafinha playing against Alonso, I'm hoping Leeds have some fun. Like, I'm not going to lie.
We discussed this and I've already said, watch Rudiger get a yellow card in this game because they're going to double up Rafinha as everyone keeps doing.
Oh, yeah.
And Rudiger won't stand for the tricks that Rafinha tries to pull. So, it's going to be bad. Rudiger's going to do something.
You know what? Rafinha's just going to get in his head, bro. If Rafinha gets in Rudiger's head, his head goes quite quickly. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but listen, Rafinha's a hot head too. So it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
But listen, I would love nothing more than my team to just pull something out of the bag. But unfortunately, at this point in time, I just don't see it. So 2-0 Chelsea.
Nah, fair enough. I'm going to have to pull a Keegan. I will love it. I would love it if Leeds beat Chelsea.
Right, trust me. Please, come on, Leeds.
So Matt, I'll come to you there. How do you feel about the Chelsea-Leeds game? Give me a score prediction.
Yeah, I know, as Kagey said, Leeds have got quite a few injuries. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to side with the team that's obviously in a little bit... Well, I'll say a little bit. I know Chelsea didn't win their last game, but I think they're going to be too strong for...
Listen, to be fair... Leeds actually have better form over the last 2 or 3 games. I think Chelsea have got 2 defeats and 2 draws, right?
You're looking at numbers too much. Because again, and this is another point, someone like Tuchel will want their team to kickstart again. Yes. And this is a perfect game for them to do it.
No, I hear that.
We're not
I'm
talking
trying to
about
just draw as many positives and put them in the universe. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. But if this is a fully fit Leeds,
manifestation.
And if it's a fully fit Leeds, I would go draw. I'd actually say it's a draw, because I think Rafinha's going to have fun out there. Don't get twisted. So even though I know that they probably will come up a bit short, Rafinha will have his fun. And like you said, Rudiger's going to have to be on it because you know that Alonso's going to get spun and Rudiger's going to have to keep trying to save his bacon. Yeah. But I think when it comes down to it, Chelsea will just have a little bit more clearance because of the players that they still have available to them to Leeds. You know what I mean? As I said before, if Leeds are full strength, I actually think Leeds take points off them if we're talking about a confident Leeds. Do you know what I mean? But I think Chelsea edge this. Not edge it. I think Chelsea win it. I think Chelsea win it 2-0. I have to say 2-0. I don't see Leeds scoring.
Same with KJ going 2-0. George, how do you feel about that one, bro?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much echoing like the same sort of things. I think, again, if it was like, Bamford was back in or whatever, I think you could stand a bit more of a chance. But at the end of the day, they were resting Alonso midweek. Lukaku, obviously, again, finding his feet, but he played midweek as well. So he's kind of getting the minutes back in the tank.
Sorry, George, did you say Lukaku finding his feet or finding his teams? I didn't hear what you said. I'm not sure what you said, bro. Sorry.
Bro said.
Sorry, yeah.
Even still, his physicality can make a difference to allow the likes of what Mount's been a bit on fire for, even though the results have not been great. Mount himself has been playing well for Chelsea recently.
Werner's looking a little bit better as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I thought he scored the winner at the end before
what a goal that was, though. What a goal that was. I'm not gonna lie. That was
for
real.
Banger.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're at home as well, so I think it should be theoretically fairly easy for Chelsea. Sorry to say, but it's just they've got the players and the manager to kind of get their form kind of back on track because they kind of need to. They can't afford to slip away from the likes of you guys and City. So I'd say maybe like a 3-1 Chelsea win.
Fair dues. I was going to go 1-0 to Chelsea, but I'm going to listen to KG because he knows his team. So I'll change it and I'll go 2-0 as well.
No, I thought it was very mean of Tuchel to rest all those players. He didn't need to do that. So.
But the thing is, KG, if you saw the press conference, he even started talking about the fixtures. And you can always tell a manager. I remember when Klopp did it. You can tell a manager's feeling the pressure a bit when he starts going, look, how many games do you want us to start playing within a week?
Yeah.
You got to play in here, you got to play. I was like, Tuchel's starting to feel the pressure a little bit. You can tell. He's feeling it a little bit.
Their luxury winter breaks and everything.
He's starting to feel it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, as a manager, he's used to playing in leagues where they get a winter break. I remember Klopp, you had to get used to this. Like, hold on a minute, what? We got to play how many games? Like, you know what I mean? When you're a new manager to the league, you got to get used to that. So, yeah, Tuchel's starting to play their mind games. Who've Arsenal got this weekend, Matt?
They're at home to Southampton.
At home to Southampton, looking to bounce back after obviously a poor result against Everton, a poor performance, not even just a poor result, a poor performance against them. So I'll start with you, Matt. How do you think this one will go? Arsenal trying to bounce back against Southampton, who I would like to remind everyone do play well against big teams. They do play well against big teams. So how do you think?
I think Arsenal will try their best to bounce back. The thing is, Arsenal fans were getting carried away and went that little run, and they didn't play like no big teams. And I kind of feel like it might be another one of those games, but I think they will pick up the 3 points because even though I know what you're saying, Southampton do normally play well against big teams, Arsenal aren't a big team. So no disrespect. Right now they are no disrespect. No disrespect. They're not going to look at Arsenal and think, oh, we're playing a City, we're playing a Chelsea. They're not going to look at him like that. So I think personally,
you gotta love the shade.
You know, I mean, subtle shade after Friday every now and again.
You gotta love the shade.
But on that premise, I think Arsenal will win it. I think they'll win it 2-1. Southampton will give them a game, but as you said, Southampton always talking about for the big games. For them, it's not a big game. It's another game for them. But Arsenal. But to be fair to Arsenal fans, even though I'm giving it a little bit of shade, you'll win the game. I'm gonna say 2-1.
2-1. KG, how do you think that one will go, bro? Arsenal, Southampton.
I just got 1-1 in my head for some reason. I can see Arsenal going ahead, and then some madness goes on. Livramento with a cross, and then Che Adams just tucking one in. I can see it being 1-1 for some reason. Don't ask me why, but yeah, I've got a draw down for this one.
Keep putting it out there. Keep putting it out there. Livramento is a good player, man. I like him.
He is.
Yeah, I like him.
What is going on with the fullbacks at Chelsea's academy, like at Cobham? Because
it's mad. It's mad. They got a conveyor belt. They got the conveyor belt.
Reece James, Livramento, Lamptey. Oh my
goodness.
To be fair, all of those players that they were stockpiling and bringing through the youth system of all them youth cups, like they're all playing in the league now everywhere, isn't it? Gallagher and obviously like it's Samir. They got loads of players all over the place now. Yeah, he is a good player. I like him.
Baller, man.
So George, I'll finish with you. What do you think of that one? Arsenal, Southampton, bro.
Well, let me feast. All right, okay.
Man said, "Let me feast."
Okay, so no. To be fair, like I think the problem is Southampton are very hit and miss this year for me, which is a bit annoying because I think usually I would say like I think Southampton could seriously give them a run for their money and get a win, but they are extremely hit and miss this season. Confidence low with Arsenal at the moment. Arteta in his conference after as well, the Everton game, basically saying it just completely wasn't good enough. We all know he's not good enough to be the manager anyway. So
we don't need any more fallen soldiers though, George. We've already lost Ollie. We can't lose our man.
We need someone to hold the league up from the bottom.
Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, come on. But go on, bro.
I think a draw is a very good shout. I think because they're at home, a draw is a very good shout. So I think I have to agree with a 1-1. Aubameyang just looks like a headless chicken at the moment, man. He's finished.
He's done. Aubameyang is done.
The thing is, like, I feel like Lacazette's always their best threat, yet he gets dropped constantly by Arteta, which I don't understand personally. But yeah, I think it'll be a draw. I'm hoping for, I don't know, like a Broja maybe will come through and grab a goal against Arsenal. But yeah, I'd say 1. I agree with 1-1 as well.
Does anyone know, is Walcott fit?
I don't know.
I don't know, you know.
I'd love the curse of the old player. You know them ones. You know when you play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To really
That
hurt
would
them,
be like
innit?
1-0 Southampton, Walcott winner in the 88th minute. I'd love it. That would be
I thought
beautiful.
Iwobi was so close to doing it the other day.
Do you know what? I feel like he deliberately missed. How did he miss that?
Exactly.
How did he miss that? Come on, man. He didn't want to put the nail in the coffin. One-on-one with a goalkeeper in the 94th minute or whatever it was. I know he's crap, but he's got to score that. Come on, man.
Yep.
Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? I think there was even an Everton player he could have squared it to, right? Like, he didn't even have to have a shot. He could have squared it for an open goal.
Yeah.
He
made
That's
sure no one was
Iwobi,
scoring
man.
that chance. And then Gray just said, hold my beer and just,
Alright, Damari Gray. Listen, one of the signings of the season for me.
Yeah.
Because you look at the nominal fee that it was. I think it was like, was it 2 mil or something like that?
1.4, bro.
1. Bro, like he's been there. He's been Everton's shining light this season. He has been.
Yeah.
He's been their shining light. You know what I mean? You have to give him credit for turning his career around, because at Leicester he was seen as the prospect before Harvey Barnes. Then he kind of went up the boil. Obviously, he got sold, and then obviously Benitez has brought him back in, and he's done wonders. You know what I mean? But just quickly, yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think he didn't have too much confidence at Leicester, especially because he's
coming
through, didn't have the experience. Went to, was it Leverkusen? I think he went to.
I'm trying to remember where he went. Was it Leverkusen?
I think it was Leverkusen.
I'm sure.
Okay.
So obviously he went there. I mean, to be fair, I don't really know how well he did, but you can clearly tell his confidence has gone a lot higher, because since he's come to Everton, he's just looks like a different player, really. So
he's looking more like the player that when he started at Birmingham City. Like, he's just looking that confident again. So good for him, man.
Yeah, man. Good player. I like it. Bargain. 1.4 mil. That is.
This is what I'm saying.
And
especially in this day and age is ridiculous.
Because what I was going to say is, look at his trajectory now, and I know it's completely different, but look at Aubameyang's trajectory. Like, he's gone for, Aubameyang's been like the big fish at Arsenal for how long? But the decline is just mad. And we're not talking just one-off games. We're talking, he was never the best, like, overall footballer, but as a goal scorer, he was always known for finisher. His movement off the ball. Bro, he just looks like he's done. You know, like, I'm trying to think. It's like Optimus Prime with the Matrix. He used to be that. Now he's just Orion Pax with no Matrix, fam. You know them ones there. He's just a normal brother.
Listen, he secured his 350k a week or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's when he dashed out the Matrix.
Huge decline.
Dash out the Matrix. My goodness.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Aubameyang. I mean, he's been annoying me. I had him in my fantasy team, and he's just getting.
You shouldn't have put him there, bro. No way.
No, but I remember a couple of weeks ago, didn't he get like a goal, 2 goals in 2 games or something? I thought, okay, maybe and Arsenal had kind of an easy little run of games. I thought, maybe I can bring him in, because Lukaku got injured. And I was looking for a Lukaku replacement. I thought, you know what? Arsenal's got an easy run of games. They're playing all right, and I brought him in. And then all of a sudden, boy, he's just.
Bro, he liked a picture of Ronaldo scoring the winning goal.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
Then try to unlike it like social media ain't alive 24/7 a day. You know what I mean?
You can't.
The NFTs have been made. It's just
your captain. I'm like, your captain can't do that.
Yeah, drift though. But Rodrigo scored 2 goals in 2 games as well at one point. So that's very dangerous to run off that kind of form.
Bring him in versus Chelsea.
I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted to bring him in because Rodrigo's price is nice. No, but Bamford was injured. I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted to bring him in as well. I gotta be real, I nearly did.
There you go, fam.
I nearly did. Who's West Ham got this week, Matt?
West Ham are away to Burnley.
Away to Burnley. Just quickly then, I'll stick with you, Matt. What do you think of West Ham at Burnley? How do you think that'll go?
I think West Ham win this one. They're in a great run of form, West Ham. They are looking, for me, they're the surprise package of the season, because even though they were doing well last season, they've built on that and they've just gone from strength to strength. I think they'll beat Burnley 2-0. I think they'll win 2-0.
Fair dues, George.
I think 2-0 is definitely a good shout. 2 or 3-0. I think Bowen's looked great this season so far.
Oh, man, like Bowen.
I think he'll do well. I think Antonio, even though obviously his form's dipped quite a fair bit in terms of the goal scoring, got his, someone say fluke of assist, because we all know the goal was a fluke, but still, like, he's still got an assist. So I think that this sort of run of games he's about to come into now, I think he'll start becoming good again. So yeah, I think it should really be an easy win for West Ham.
Yeah.
KG, how do you think that'll go, bro?
Yeah, I'm going for a West Ham 2-1 win, and a lot like the clubs outside of the Big Four. West Ham have got some players that if they were performing the way that they have done over the last 2 years in bigger teams, people were calling them top class. So shout out to Souček and Rice and all these guys, Creswell.
Definitely.
You know, they've been a consistent source. Bowen, I've said from time, is one of the, you know, such a tricky player. Just needs to work on that end product a little bit just to get to that next level.
Yeah.
But they've got some very, very good players. And I would say 2-1. I know they've got a bit of a crisis at centre back at the minute. So
yeah, they do actually.
I don't know which two's going to go in. So I'll go with losing 2-1 to West Ham.
Good job.
Okay.
I agree with KJ. I'm going to go 2-1. I think Burnley might get a goal. Yeah, but I think West Ham will finally get over the line. Maybe like get a winner in the last 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Who's United got this weekend, Matt?
They are away to Norwich.
Oh God, do we even have to?
Ronaldo 5 goals.
Is there an easier guaranteed points at the moment than Norwich? I mean, don't get me wrong, they have done a little bit better since obviously Smith went in there. But I mean, let's just go. KG, I do think that one will go, bro.
I'm going to go 3-0 Man United. Just keep it simple. I think it's going to be 3-0.
Cool. George?
Same. Like we managed to, we managed to beat them 3-0, and I think like obviously Ronaldo's been rested now. Ranić's obviously got a little bit more time now to sort of put his little system in place, and because I think he plays 2 up top, right? He's basically played Rashford and Ronaldo up top together, I think. Well, that's what he did in his first game anyway. So
I didn't see the young boys game, but yeah.
I think like the league game before, he had like 2. I think he does like this 4-2-2-2 at the moment with Man United.
Yeah, so, the 4-2-2. Yeah.
So I think if those 2 are up top against Norwich, it's going to be long for them. I can't.
Matt, what do you think that will be?
I agree with what KJ and Lewis both said. 3-0. Sorry, George. Sorry, 3-0. Sorry, I can't believe I just did that. My bad.
I know. We just like
Internet's got me going mad out here. Internet's got me going mad. You know them ones there. No, apologies. But no, 3-0. It's gonna be 3-0. Man United are no way of losing this game. They shouldn't be dropping points. They shouldn't be inferior to Norwich in any sense of the way, bro. Because as you said, like Norwich have been shocking. And let's be real, they're definitely going down. I don't see them improving anytime soon. And because obviously the Man United Ralph kind of thing's kicking off now, I think they're going to smash them. So it might even be 4, if I'm being honest. It's going to be 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4-0 United on that one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's going to be better. Where are you? It's going to be better with that, bro.
Trust me, they will be. Where are you? Let's be having you. Where are you?
She'll never live that down.
Trust me.
City. Who's City got this weekend, bro?
City have... they're at home to Wolves. Interesting, that. Obviously, we played them last.
Yeah. KJ, I'll start with you. Do you think Wolves can do anything at the Etihad?
No. But what I like about Wolves is that they are resolute, but they just don't score any goals, man. Like everything seems to be going all right, but the goal scoring just isn't there right now. I definitely like their goalkeeper as well. I don't know if you guys have been watching Sarr. He's a character.
Yeah.
He's a character. I like those kind of goalkeepers with a bit of like crazy in them. So, but Man City are rolling. So I fully expect them to win this one. I'm gonna go 2-0 Man City.
I like the sound of that. I'm going to go 2-0 Man City as well. I like the sound.
Agree.
George, do you want the rest of my score?
Listen, just hang up. No, honestly, like normally I'd say more, but I do think Wolves have defensively been okay recently. Like obviously they looked a bit better defensively, but yeah, they just don't seem to be able to score at the moment. I think Jimenez is class, and Hwang Hee-chan had a bit of form like earlier in the season, but yeah, at the moment, just nothing's sticking for them. So, yeah, I think 2 or 3-0 easily, especially with the form like the likes of Bernardo Silva is on, and De Bruyne is working his way back into the team fully as well. So, yeah, it could be, again, pretty long for Wolves.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day. Matt, just quickly, what do you think of that one?
I actually think Wolves might give them a little bit of trouble. You know what it is? I think, was it not last season, but maybe season before that? I think Wolves beat them. Now, I know that the rules have definitely changed.
That was a while ago, bro.
I know. Hear me
Nuno's
out,
rules.
people.
That was a while ago, bro.
These man just don't want to hear it, you know. They don't want to hear it. Now, all I'm going to say is this, yeah. Wolves, yes, it looks like they probably will lose, most likely. But do not sleep on them maybe on the counter. And it's because of one man. And even though he hasn't got no end product, he's going to cause them problems all game. Because you know what their game plan is, isn't it? Give him the ball, let him carry it. Adama, run, and see what you can do. I think Man City will still win. They'll win it, but they'll win. I think it'll be 2-1. I think it'll be a little bit closer than maybe what people think. Because I think Wolves know that they're going to have to camp in and hope that they can hit them on the counter. And hope that Adama can carry the ball, whatever, and sling in some crosses for maybe Jimenez. But I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 Man City.
Fair dues. I would love to see Jimenez go. It's so good to see him back as well. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But he is a
I love
baller,
him, man. I think he's
he's a brilliant
He's sick,
striker.
bro.
I think if he never got the injury, he may have moved on to a bigger club, you know. I think by now he might actually be at a bigger team. Yeah, I think the injury is the only reason why he's still there, but it's brilliant to see him back, man. So, yeah.
I think they need Pedro Neto back pretty soon.
Yes, they do.
He's in training, apparently. I think he's in training,
The sooner he can get back, the better for them, because he is unreal. He is quality.
Yeah, he gave balance.
And just shout out there, the left back, Ait Nouri, man. Like, he's coming into his own now. He's making that spot his own. Young guy as well, and he's looking better each game.
Yeah, no, definitely, man.
Sure.
So we just finished up with the Villa and Liverpool game. Obviously, we did our prediction earlier on. And guys, make sure you go check that out if you haven't already. So I'll start with you, George. Villa and Liverpool. How do you think that one will go? Gerrard back at Anfield.
Yeah. I think it's actually going to be a tougher game for you guys. I do think the way Gerrard has started with Villa has been obviously very good. And of course, I think Ollie Watkins is being slept on a little bit. I don't hear his name being talked about from a lot of people, and I think he's going to step up quite a bit now, especially on Gerrard. But obviously, granted, you guys are in great form, or Salah's in great form, and you are at home as well. So I still think you'll win. I just think Aston Villa are going to make it tougher than people think. So I'd probably say 2-1 win for Liverpool.
Dude, KG, how do you think that one will go, bro?
Yeah, I think with someone like Gerrard, you know he's a motivator, and you know he's going to get these players to try and run through bricks for him, and you know he's going to want to do well in this game. You know, he won't come out and say, yeah, it's just another game. Yeah, no way. He wants to make a statement in this game. So, but I just think that your form and your class is just going to be too much. I think it's going to override any kind of brick wall that Aston Villa are going to put up. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 Liverpool win. And just as well on that point as well, Salah is doing amazing stuff. But I got to shout out Trent as well, man. I'm enjoying watching him play. Got to admit, I love watching Trent Alexander play. And it's unusual to say that for like right backs, isn't it? But he's unconventional. He's not just a right back, is he? So yeah, man. Shout out to Trent, man. Really enjoyable to watch.
Right centre mid wing back.
Wherever he wants to be.
Wherever he wants to be.
I'm not gonna lie. It's refreshing to hear you say that, KG, because a lot of rivals they've always just got something negative to say about Trent.
No, I saw it recently though. No, because I've come on here and I've said before that his defensive skills have improved, and they have. And they waited until he made a mistake or something didn't go quite right down his side, and all of a sudden he's no good defensively again. It's just a weird thing that people are trying to nip at because he's so good at everything else.
Yeah.
So they try and highlight his seam deficiencies, but for me, he's got way better on that defensive end.
Facts, KG, facts.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them don't take into consideration that the way Klopp wants him to play will leave him exposed sometimes just naturally. It's not even about how good he is. It's just
because he's high up the pitch.
Yeah, but and that's the point as well. I've noticed his recoveries have got better. That's part of the defense I'm talking about. His recovering has been a lot better. So yeah, man, shout out to Trent.
No, big up, man. Big up. It's nice to hear someone say something good about him for once, man.
Trust me.
He gets a lot of slack, I'm telling you. So have we got any super chats before we finish up, Matt?
Hold on, bear with me.
One just popped up.
Oh yes, I forgot you haven't got.
Yeah. I've got one just got now. Zabiri says, how would you man feel if Gerrard slaps us on Klopp? What's this fall off 8-game losing streak? Should FSG go for Gerrard, then find the next man?
Whoa.
One love. Raw.
the
That is
very coming in all
man.
hard like that, you know, blood.
That-
I mean, I would pay to see that, to be fair.
You know what George really wants to say? More than you could believe.
Eight titles on me.
I hate the way that Pep has actually got people like Rodrigo and Bernardo who look like they might not quite thingy, just balling out. Like, it really does my head in, man.
That's
Like,
a top coach, though, innit? You guys know it more than anyone as well. That's what a top coach can do for you.
Does, man.
Yeah.
Facts.
And this is the reason why I don't get why people sleep on Pep. I find it, I do get a bit baffled when people sleep on him and go, he's not that good and all that. I'm like, nah, man, you got to see past the money. This guy is elite. He's an elite manager, man.
No, he is.
Yeah.
It's the mentality that I think he offers the players is a big thing. Big thing.
Yeah. And what's funny is like what you were saying about Bielsa, KG. This is the longest he's ever been at one club. So nobody really thought he could do it, but he's proven he can. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't look like he's looking to end that anytime soon either. So, I thought it would have been over by now, but this brother still wants to. he still
wants the Champions League.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself too much, man. It's doing my nut. But yeah, just before we finish up with this last super chat, which front three is better, Foden, Haaland, and Salah, or Mbappe, Kane, and Mane?
The first one. First one.
Yeah.
It's not even a debate. No disrespect. It's not a debate, in my opinion.
I actually think you lot answered that a bit too quick, but fair enough.
Well,
It's because Mane's in the
Yeah.
second one.
If
It's
it's
'cause
Kane
Mane's in
last
the second
season, Mbappe.
No,
in the
it's not
World
even
Cup.
just that. Like, Kane is just as lethal as Haaland. Forget the recency with him not scoring, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
so, fair enough. But yeah, there you have it, people. Thanks for watching. As always, hope you enjoyed that one. I certainly did. Everybody's links are in the description. Make sure you go over there, man. Make sure you go show love to KG.
Drift, there's another super chat.
Is there one more? Yeah.
yeah.
Respect, bro. Respect. From Ash, big up yourself, bro. Would you boys think about Adeyemi signing for Dortmund in January for 40 mil? Any chance someone goes for Haaland in January and doesn't wait until the summer? We spoke about this today, ironically, in it, Matt, when I was saying to you that it would maybe make a little bit of sense now Dortmund are at the Champions League if they tried to get maybe an extra 30 mil for him and let him go in January rather than waiting until there's nothing they can do about it with the buyout clause.
Yeah.
KG, George, any of you lot want to jump? What do you think about Dortmund? Do you think they should try and cash in on Haaland to get a bit more?
I mean, I think they'd want to,
Yeah.
because they know he's gone regardless, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think is it Raiola? It was Raiola the one that's his agent, right?
Right,
I saw his.
And his dad too. His dad too.
I saw you had comments recently about saying like, oh, they have a plan of where they want to go, but of course, he basically said if there's money on the table, we obviously might have to consider it, sort of thing. So they probably are hinting at it, but I still see it. See it being an end of season sort of situation personally.
Where do you think he goes, George? You know, where do
City? I think Man City, 100%.
You know, I wish you never said that because I feel the same way as well.
The thing is,
genuinely, I think they're going to get him. You know,
I don't think they're going to go for Kane again. And then when you look at all of the other prospects, like they definitely, no matter how well they play with this false nine or whatever, they still need a striker.
But
and at the end of the day,
Haaland,
if the money was like 60 odd mil or whatever for Haaland in the summer, there's no way they're going to pass up that opportunity. No way.
When they get Haaland, not if, when they get Haaland, it's just gonna be long, man.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of chances they create and the type of striker that he is, this natural born killer. The thing is, he's one of them strikers where, you know, like kind of like when I don't know, so there's a counter and like basically what Salah did the other day, where the ball got played out and Salah kind of banked on the defender, hitting it and then running. Haaland does that like every game. It's just gonna be long, fam.
And people forget how kind of quick he is as well because of his stride. Like the people just think of him as like a tall, big whatever. But no, his stride is ridiculous.
He's got a long strap out.
Listen, he was supposed to be out until after Christmas. The guy's already back and scoring.
He's quite literally a machine. He is a machine.
He's got his software update. He got a software update while he was injured and came back early.
Elon Musk coming up with a new
update of the season. That brother there. He's
So
different.
what
What
are you saying? What are you saying? If we don't win the league this year, that it's definitely just a wrap.
But
Yeah,
if they get Haaland this summer, no, put it like this: we have to win the league this summer because if they get Haaland, fuck, it's long, and everyone in the Premier League knows it's long because they create so many chances. They create as many chances as we do, if not more. Sometimes they control games. They batter you in possession, and all they need really is a killer. And they look at what they're doing now without no killers on the pitch in terms of a striker. Look, but they can play Grealish full time. They can play Sterling full time. They can play Bernardo if they want to, and they'll still win a game. Now you're telling me they're going to get a recognized world-class striker.
What I would say as well, in terms of Drifty's question, is the only way I could see it happening in January is if, say, Sterling does move to, say, Arsenal, that then frees up the way to then get Haaland in January. That's the only way I can see that possibly happening.
Yeah.
You know, go for the
if happens in January.
Isn't Fernand Torres been linked away in January?
To Barca, he wants to go Barca apparently, but
he's homesick.
Yeah. So you're right, Cage. It could happen. They could let one or two players go out, and then they've got the funds, and they think, you know what, we want to win the Champions League. Why wait? Now you can register a player in the Champions League, and just bring it. Bloody hell! I really hope not.
What I will say then is that it keeps him on the roadmap to then go in Leeds in 2032. So that's when we're going to get him, and he comes home to his rightful birthplace, and we can get him.
When he's
I saw a couple people in the chat saying, "Yeah, he's going Leeds."
Sorry, is this when Soccer Aid has been hosted at Road?
It's when he comes back to his home where he was born, man, where he was made. So you know, he has to come home at some point. Come on,
more of a chance to see Messi at White Hart Lane. Let's be real.
Right? Yeah, you never know. You never know. He does have an emotional tie. He does have an emotional tie to Leeds, so it isn't actually.
He actually does.
The guy still wears his dad's Leeds United shorts to training in Dortmund. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
it's just a bit of yellow, isn't it? That's probably it.
Manifestation. Just a couple quick super chats before we duck out. Big up Jamba, as always. Dortmund have targeted Adeyemi in the summer, not January. He's saying. Fair enough.
They're close to getting him either way. They're close to getting him. He's a talented player as well, man.
Yeah, I would have loved him at Liverpool. I know you've been actually talking about him a lot.
Yeah, man.
Well,
He's quality, man.
I think we had one more. Bear with me.
I think it's from
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie.
Big up Jamie as always. He's going to Munich. It's already a done deal. I have heard a few rumors about him going to Munich and Lewandowski moving on. I have heard a few rumors about.
It makes sense, but
it would make sense.
It does, but I just for some reason I don't see that one happening. I don't know why.
No. It wouldn't surprise me, but I just think that the guy's got Premier League written all over him, man.
Same.
I weirdly feel like that Haaland would just kind of lose like so much respect as well. Just kind of doing a quick jump ship across to Munich when, like you said, like so much of the Premier League or everyone's targeting him in it. So it's like, I think. Is
it fair to say before we finish, he's got a better chance of winning the Champions League at Bayern than he does at Man City, maybe? And he might want that. I'm sure he's young and he's ambitious.
I guess.
Possibly you could look at it like that.
I would say that someone like Erling Haaland, the way he talks, he would back himself wherever he goes. The Champions League's got a good place to go. So wherever he's the Champions League can possibly follow him. So I think he thinks like that, in all fairness.
Yeah. That's the point.
And it depends because Pep might even leave at the end of in the summer for City. So I don't know.
Manifestation.
Whatever the next manager is going to be, if they're going to be Champions League pedigree.
Just quickly for you guys, because I know you guys are linked FC. What do you think about Vlahovic coming to Liverpool? Would you like that?
No, stop it.
Sorry,
I would like it, but you know what? I genuinely do think that's one of the players Conte's actually going to chase. I do genuinely believe it.
I'm not even just saying it. I genuinely believe we are the front runners for.
It's the hope that kills you.
It is killing. I've been there. Conte, he's giving me that little bit extra hope right now.
And it's only 40 million, right?
Well, it would be a lot more because I think we're going to try and make a move in January.
It'll be more in Jan. It'll be more in January.
They're saying 70 mil in Jan, but 40 mil in the summer. Yeah,
in the summer, yeah.
Because we basically kind of have to do it in January and spend the cash because we'll lose out to you or whoever else it may be. Because come the summer, I think almost all the big dogs will go after him.
Yeah.
Again, Juve again were linked, but then they were saying Fiorentina president basically said pretty much a no way again because of their sort of financial situations. So yeah, I think
it'll
he'll be a
be
big
interesting.
target.
He's definitely one of the hot prospects.
Yeah,
He's one of those
I think
ones
for
now.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just quickly as well, you just mentioned Juve, so just quickly going back to them before we go. But it's those kind of deals that we talk about. The guy that they signed, the midfielder, his name's escaping me right now. The Italian midfielder,
the one from oh my god,
Sassuolo.
Is that the one? Oh yeah, I was
From Sassuolo.
oh my god, he basically
Someone in the chat, please help us out because
he
I
was
can
so
see
good. It was so good for Italy.
I can see his
Euros.
curly hair everywhere's blasting.
Yeah.
Yes, and no.
I loved him, man. I can't. He rejected Arsenal as well.
Locatelli,
Locatelli, that's the one.
But you can see it's deals like that where they've managed. They were in and ahhing over a fee, and then they get him on what is it, a 2-year deal with then an obligation to buy. Like, how does that even happen for a player of that caliber? That's the kind of thing they're kind of talking about, I think. So I just wanted to get that one in. Thank you for the chat, man. Locatelli.
Yes, thank you, chat.
A little bit like the Mbappe deal, innit? When he went on the 2-year loan.
Yeah.
With an obligation to buy for
with an obligation to buy is like, all right.
Come on, what's going on here?
We've done that with Romero and Galini. Romero's a year loan, and then Galini's a 2-year loan, and then obligations to buy at the end. So
did you do that with Lo Celso as well? Like
Lo Celso was a year and an obligation, but then we triggered it early in January.
So why would you do that?
I mean, yeah, at the time it looked like the right thing to do, and then
Lo Celso, my days. I mean, if you've got the Juve guy now, I mean, you got to keep an eye on him, bro.
Well, I'm saying
if he's doing a couple of dodgy ones, you got to keep an eye on him, bro. You don't want your club to get dragged down with his bullshit, bro.
2022 is going to be,
just before we go, Jam up, big up again. Reality playing time is very important to Adeyemi. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the young players, they do think about those situations. You know, it's the reason why players like Haaland went to Dortmund. He knew he'd get more game time.
Yeah,
he knew his development was important, and he went to a place that either Bellingham said no to United outright. I want to go where I'm going to get played. I mean, the irony is he'd be playing in the United team now, but at the time he didn't think he would. So,
agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, you've had us for an extra 10 minutes, guys. So, you know what I mean? Big up to everyone in the chat as always. Make sure you like, you know what I mean, the video. And again, make sure you get over and support George and KG and all the boys. Everyone's links in the description. Make sure you get over there. You know what I mean? And until next week, people, we will see you later. Peace.
See you.